Hey, everybody out there. It's another weekly show with Dan and Dan from Spartan. I'm here with Dan McDonald, as you guys have gotten to know over the last however long it's been that I've been doing this. He's the chief of staff at Spartan. I am Dan with Ward Wrestling Live, and I welcome everybody to the show. Today we have a great program, Lionhearts Fitness. One lion, many hearts. That's how you remember it, Lionhearts Fitness. We're here with Shell. No I. And we're here with Rachel. Don't call her Rach. And we're going to have a really, really good time. And we're going to get to experience and learn all about what they do. And also they run Spartan races. So it'll be cool to speak to them. And I'm going to give it over to Dan now, because Dan is definitely more familiar as he runs races with them. So Dan.
So good morning. Thank you both for joining us. I could not wait until after, Shell and I were talking about something else, and she's going to touch on that with the Spartan Kids Foundation. We were talking a couple of weeks ago about it. And I just randomly kind of threw out this and said, hey, would you mind coming on and talking to us about what Lionhearts Fitness does and how we got founded in the first place, and what's the reasoning behind it, and what are we doing with the kids and that kind of stuff. And it was a pretty quick yes. In fact, I don't think I got the entire question out before she gave me that yes. So I am literally just going to turn it over to you, Shell and Rachel, and just have you share with us and the audience what it is you're all about. What is some of the goals as we go through 23, because I follow you on Facebook and the rest of social media, and I know a lot of folks do. So I know what some of the goals are and some of the things we're trying to accomplish, but I'd love for the people out here to know that and just get to know more about who you are.
Thank you so much. It's great. I was talking to Rachel about this last night, and I'm like, I don't know if those two men know that they're probably not going to get a word in edgewise. They run the show, but they might not know us too well. You sure you want us here? But yes, Lionhearts Fitness, we're absolutely blessed and honored. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a reason and purpose first. What we're doing and all of this is great. It's been blowing up phenomenally beyond even my wildest imagination, and I'm pretty wild. And I'm very grateful for that. And Spartan is a big deal, and that has a big reason for it. We started because I, about 5 or 6 years ago, got a terminal illness, and I was given about 2 weeks to live. And we don't focus on that, but it is important. And because of that, my bucket list item, after I did a few little things, was to do a Spartan race. It was just so I found on the internet, started looking at different groups and teach me how, and I became a volunteer. And I wasn't ready to race. I was scared to death, but I started just being part of the Spartan community. And in doing that, I was volunteering. I became friends with everybody, and I started bringing my camera, and I just became part of Spartan. And before you know it, I let people know that my doctors were giving me some funky news, and I'm like, I got to do one. I just got to do one. So a wonderful group carried me. They carried me through the race, and I got my first race in of many. I turned 62 in February, and we had the group from the podium carry me through, but that's another story. I love Spartan for that. But what happened was a year or so later, just about 2 years ago, my son, I have 7 children, but my youngest son, his best friend, about 12 years old, hung himself. And I didn't know how to help my son. I did not know how to help. I know Spartan gave me life. I know it might help my boy. I didn't know what to do. His mama's sick. The other kids have all moved out. I didn't know what to do. And so I took him to a Spartan race. He got his first Spartan race, little SOB, lost me and beat me by 2 hours. We won't talk about that right now. He has qualified for world championships this year too, but that's another story too. Okay, Luccketta. So, but the thing was, we got in the car and he said, Mama, we need this for all kids. This might have saved Jake. I was like, damn. Okay, baby. Now I know what I can do for my son. Been in the music business 30, 40 years. I knew how to put something together. So I said, you got it. And from that day on, Lionhearts Fitness started. Free fitness for all kids. Free obstacle course racing for all kids. Everybody has a choice. Everybody has a chance now to face obstacles. Everybody. My son runs the joint and he races like a mad boy. We take kids left and right to races. But see, it's 100% volunteers. My life has been extended quite a few years since then. Now it's 3 years. I'm still plugging. Okay. My boy's still racing, but he spent his whole summer. We had 7 weeks of summer camp, free obstacle course race training every day. He donates his whole summer to help those kids, see, because he knows it might help one kid. And we've seen it help about 600. Free fitness for all kids, free OCR racing. And Rachel, what do you think about that? Did I go on long enough? What you got, girl?
That was pretty good. Yeah. I mean, she talks on a high level, but I guess you'd have to spend a day at the facility to really understand the work and hands-on love that it takes for Lionhearts to operate, because it's not just about a group showing up at a Spartan kids race on a Saturday. It's about every day throughout the week, this being a safe place for the kids to go to. And for some of these families, this is the safest place for the kids to go to, and it may not be at their homes. It may be in this environment, and just the structure of the program, teaching kids when they're out on the kids course, they have to help each other through. And so nobody can advance until every child gets to that obstacle. And it's beautiful. You'll see 5-year-olds helping 10-year-olds and 10-year-olds helping 6-year-olds. And, you know, it's just such a community. And it's been such a blessing for me to find Shell and Lionhearts in her program, because as soon as I met them, I became involved. I mean, Shell, I don't know if you want to tell them how we found each other.
Well, again, Luccketta was blessed to race a 24-hour race with some heavy hitters, some all elites, if you will. And because of that, we got to meet Rachel, and ooh, she was really good at what we wanted to be when we grew up. But what was great about that is, for her, she took the time to be with the children. Now, see, I started bringing my camera because that's another thing I do on the side just for fun. And I started meeting all the pros. I started meeting all these people, and I would see Rachel across that finish line winning another Spartan race. She's something else. And she's coming over, but she doesn't even barely grab her medal. I'm like, excuse me, I need some pictures. Okay. No. She's going right back out there helping the second place and the third place. And she's grabbing their arms, and that's Lionhearts. See, Lionhearts are all ages. We all race together. And we have a little competitive team happening now, which you guys will age group them, but they're not even allowed to race until they race an open race with all the kids in the morning. Luccketta, he doesn't care if he has an ultra or 3 other races during the day. He doesn't race unless he races those kids. He's like a little Pied Piper. He gets them all one big team, and that is it. And he'll have to do a race sometimes first, because on early race, he will get back on time. I think he's really helped his time, because he needs to be back to race with those kids. Okay. And that's what happened with Rachel. She was just like that. She is like, okay, thank you for this axe, if we're with Savage, okay, or thank you for these medals, but I need to go race with these kids. So it's phenomenal. Chris, how do you say her last name? She was handling medals to our kids. So these are the kind of people that we want with our kids. Okay, Noelle. Okay, go on. But Rachel was with a group of those people that care about other people, that care about the community of Spartan, not the medal. Well, she'll grab that podium. I dare you try to take it from her. That's not the point. The point is, that's not who she is. She is this person that gives of her heart and her soul, but she only chooses to be around people that do the same. So she picks me up by the scruff of my neck, and she starts introducing me to all those great people. And then they all go, Lionhearts, that's so cool. Our facility is 7,500 square feet of what the funky chicken. It is covered in obstacles that have been donated and created by the community, thanks to Rachel. Now, I'm going to tell you the truth. Rachel introduced us to Sam Abbott. Okay, I know that's not Spartan, yet he was the first one to sponsor all of our children at a race. And then Joe sees Spartan. They're like, yeah, as long as you're promoting OCR, we're not talking, this isn't about my Spartan is better than your Savage, or my team is better than your, it's not. We're bigger than that. Say, if you can just.
When you say that, that's one thing that Dan talks about, and you hear Dan and Joe in here talk about that a lot. They obviously, they have Spartan and Tough Mudder, but you hear them say that our OCR is a family, and if another OCR event is hurting or needs our help or wants to collaborate, they're totally in because it means to the whole community gets to continue to do
Yes.
this, right?
Well,
I
and
mean, I
that's
think
what
it-
at our, go ahead, Rachel.
No, I think it's great that obstacle course racing has grown as a sport so much that we have brands that can compete against each other. And you've seen all these, DECA and High Rocks and break off types of things and just growing, and it's incredible. But when you really look at the heart of obstacle course racing and what it brings to people, that sort of transcends brands. And that's one thing that really connected me with Lionhearts when I went, I had met them it was a small 24-hour race at the end of 2020 because COVID had shut us down, and we had some friends that put on this 10-person, little loop, and we just went out there, and I had met.
And Rachel won.
And she dragged her poor son out there, and he's, hobbling through 24 hours. And I was so impressed to see a teenager out there doing this because I wish that when I was a teenager, obstacle course racing had existed because I may not have struggled so much in my 20s. I didn't get to find OCR until later in life, like kind of we all did, right? Because it's a newer sport. And so just seeing how Lionhearts is growing the brand of, just the sport of obstacle course racing and not a brand really appealed to me because in the same way that her son at his young age is wise enough to say, this could save children, I feel the same way. And so after I met them, I said, you know what, I'm in Atlanta, you're in Chattanooga. Let me drive up there for a day and visit with the kids. And, I thought I was so great doing something, giving back, not doing something not selfish. But, when I met with those kids, I guess it was April of 2021. Yeah. I mean, I walked away almost as fulfilled as when I crossed the finish line. I mean, just the way these kids looked at me, and I forgot how when you're a kid, they think I'm like Wonder Woman, right? But especially the females, meeting these young girls, 12-year-old girls that are bullied in school, that deal with body image issues, don't feel good enough, feel pressure. To get to talk to them was incredible. So once I went up there for a day and the guest speaker, and I talked to the kids about mantras, I mean, I was just hooked immediately with the program. And so now every race we're at, Shell and I are introducing, Lionhearts to everybody we can because, we're trying to make being kind cool again in obstacle course racing, I guess.
And do you live in Chattanooga?
And that's what we're doing. And,
did you move
somehow
to
now we're
Chattanooga?
here on this podcast and Lionhearts, and it's just been an incredible, when I think I'm giving to them, it just kind of fills me up more and more.
And what's really helped her introducing me, and it really does help to give credo to those that have worked so hard. I just created a calendar, and that's another story, but of all beautiful, strong, podium-winning OCR women. And I don't think they get enough attention at all. Well, these women did it for free and to donate it to Lionhearts Fitness. But now our youth, our kids, they're putting those calendars on their walls. They're getting them signed by these girls. They're going, I want to be like Rachel, or I want to be like Heather, or I want to be like, it's amazing because they have something to look up to and they strive for, and they try so hard. Now we have very strict rules. There's zero bullying allowed, all ages, no ageism. I don't care how much money you make or how much you don't. That doesn't matter because people think, oh, is this for the low income? No, we got programs for the low income coming out of our ears. This is for everybody that's stuck on their phone. And it's a no phone zone. No phones work we scrambled them in our building. And when we go to these 8-hour camps, the kids forget they even own a phone. Okay. But they're playing sports. They're with each other. They're community building. The only requirement for Lionhearts Fitness to be a member is you have to do community service with us once a month. We're going to go serve the community, whether it's cleaning a park, cleaning a river, volunteering at a race, whatever it is, we're going to give back to the community because the community has built our center. The race brands are helping us race. You make me cry. The pros are coming in and helping our children for free. Nobody's asking for glory. Nobody's asking for, can you put me up on your podcast? Nobody's doing any of that. They're saying, how do we help our community? Because our community is sinking fast. And I think that's what I think obstacle course racing prepares our community to kick some butt and help each other and love each other. And this talk about, there's so much, Rachel and I want to start our own podcast, no offense, Dan. But we want to say, what is positive? What can we talk about the positive aspects of working with youth, the positive aspects of obstacle course racing, of facing eating disorders. What are the or having a terminal illness, and why don't we just go do a Spartan race? You know, there's so many groups that are doing that. More Heart Than Scars, Wounded Warriors. We have got all these wonderful people out there that our community and society don't know about because they are facing these obstacles every day, but they're using obstacle course racing. Show me that in any other sport. A double dog dare you. Okay,
one of the
where
things,
there's, go ahead.
one of the things, Shell. So I've been one of those folks that I ran mostly Spartan races over the years. But coming onto the brand earlier this year, late last year, I've ran a couple of Tough Mudders since then. And I will tell you, it was one of the interesting things up in Nashville, and I want to share this just because it talks to what you just said. So the start line MC, and if you've never ran a Tough Mudder, what they do is they kneel. Everybody kneels in the whole entire corral, and just takes a knee and he talks. He just talks to the crowd. And one of the things he said, which speaks to what you just talked about, is look to your left and look to your right. I mean, and Spartan does that too, right? But this was look to your left and look to your right. And if you wonder how the country really is doing and how close we are as a people of the United States, look around, because there's no races, there's no genders, there's no colors, there's no nothing. We are US citizens. And it was just interesting because it doesn't matter your demographics, doesn't matter how much money you make. Nothing matters right now, because today, and he goes into the whole, today we're Tough Mudders, and but it was really cool to do that. And again, it was interesting to see what happened a little bit later as he finishes his speech, and then Tough Mudder also plays the national anthem, but the speaker system wasn't working correctly. And so instead of not doing anything, which some other sports might do that or whatever, we all sang the national anthem together. And it was a pretty cool thing. Again, that's the OCR. Again, it's not Tough Mudder, it's not Spartan, it is OCR. It's savage. It is, the Big Red Challenge in Nebraska. It is every other possible OCR that can happen. You suddenly realize that while we may butt heads a little bit, right, with some of the other brands, but we should,
Yes,
Tough Mudder and Spartan butted heads for a lot of years, only to realize, hey, maybe there is a point where we actually come together, and here we are today. So really.
When I asked Sam, Sam was helping me out, and I asked him, I'm like, am I crossing a line? Am I doing something wrong? And I use FitBar and I use Race Ready Obstacles a lot. They have helped us, and they're competitors straight on, just like Rachel and whomever. Okay, but not, like you said, not afterwards. We're eating chicken wings together, folks. We're talking OCR together. We're together, not on that course. I see Rachel on that course, and she's with Heather. And Heather, they're both on our team, if you will. Heather Golnick and Rachel, right? But boy, you get them inside that forest, and they look at each other like it's on, babe, and they take off, and whoever's going to get there, and they're going to kick each other's butt, That's what you're talking about. But boy, when they get to the end, they're like, good job, man. Yeah, I thought I had you. Yeah. And they're hugging and they love each other. It's a whole different sport, folk. It's a different sport.
I think that's why wrestling and Joe is so big on that sport. And it's almost identical to what you see at OCR really? Stuff. With the wrestling,
I might have to look at that.
Wrestling, you see two savages going at it on a mat.
Right.
Afterwards, they're sitting in the stands together, talking about what they could have done better, what they did. Next thing you know, for example, my son was in the regional finals against a kid. It went to overtime or double overtime. I forget what it was. And they just fought their butts off against each other. And since then, they've been best of friends. They've been training with each other. They've been practicing with each other. They've been helping each other. And it's crazy why we bring. One thing, I went to Dan and said, I'd love to do a show to introduce this brand to wrestling, because it's a lot of that. It's a lot of competition inside the circle or in between the lines, or however you guys want to say it. But outside, they're hugging, they're having fun, they're training with each other, they're trying to make each other better. And I hear that a lot. I haven't dove completely into this world yet because I'm on the
come on in
sales
get you
side
ready
of
for a race.
things, but Dan has me working on my goals, and one of my goals is to race in December
Nice.
with him.
Good.
Is that going to be the Central Florida trifecta?
Yes.
We
I'm
will
not-
be there.
Which
Lionhearts
race
will
are
be
you
there.
doing?
We'll be there. We're gonna join you, Dan.
Oh, good. So I'm going to hold the whole team
We'll
up because
carry you.
they're not going to be able to move
That's
on
okay.
until they get me over the monkey bars or something.
We
Or
know.
they're going to have to
we've
put their
been
hands.
there.
I'm pretty
like this.
strong. I'll help get you over the wall.
Yes,
if you need.
you
We'll
guys
make
have
sure
to put your
Luccketta will
hands like
catapult
this
you.
so I can walk on them and do the monkey bars and stuff.
There you go. You can
But
sit on
the-
my shoulders.
Yes, but
We
to
got
feed
Luccketta
off what,
too.
what you guys were talking about everybody in this one event. I don't know if you guys ever saw like that video on social media where they lined up like 100 kids or something, and they said, who comes from this type of family? And a couple people took a step
I
forward.
did see that.
Who has
I did.
this coming?
Everybody
And by
stepped
the
up.
end of it, almost everybody had moved up. Really, there was nobody left behind.
That's
And
right.
so, and everybody can turn around each step. Everybody was able to turn to each other and go, wow, there's someone else like me. Oh, wow, there's someone else. Oh, you have that issue too. And it kind of made you look at this like a different thing. I'm sure in OCR, like you guys say, if you were to line up 100 of them at the start line and say, anybody with, I don't know, unfortunate illness, step forward. I'm
Right,
sure
right.
there would be 10 of them, right? And for
Easy.
this, and you would see how much you are just like everybody, or how many of you is it your first race and you're scared to death? Me, and I'm gonna-
Right.
right.
Or it's your 100th race and you're still scared to death. You know?
There you go,
Yes.
girl. Well,
Yeah.
and as a photographer, one of my favorite pictures are when people are in the beginning of a race and they're all the same. They're all, there's the 100% one common denominator, and they're high-fiving each other. They're setting their watches. They're getting ready. Doesn't matter what age, and it doesn't matter which heat I'm looking at, from the elites all the way to the last open, which is usually mine, and whatever, or the kids race. They're all looking identical. They're all ready to go. Now, at the end of the race, I like those pictures too, because even Gelati is down there on the ground dying, if you've done a good race, but but it's the common denominator is the unity. And I think that gets missing when all they're talking about are stats and stuff like that. They're missing what OCR really is, and that is together, unity.
Yeah, I came into, I get that as athletics as a road runner, and then I went into trail running, and then I found obstacle course racing. So I sort of like progressed myself in the running world from like a really rigid group to like I thought trail runners were chill, and then I met OCR people, and it's just a completely different breed of humans and athletes. And I think what's unique about obstacle course racing, and I'm talking elites, age group, and it's all the same, because whether you're running in the course in an hour or 3 hours, you're still facing the same adversity. We're all out there running the same course. I think it's funny when people say, "Wow, you running the elite wave," and I'm like, same race that you did in the open wave, like, I don't get it. But it's this great equalizer. But so many people are drawn to the sport that have been through things. I feel like every person that I meet in races, again, whether it's another woman in my elite wave that I introduce myself to, or I'm hanging out later and I talk to somebody that's there for their first Spartan race, people that have been through suffering, they've been through abuse, trauma, veterans coming from broken homes. As a female that is a pretty big advocate for my eating disorder recovery, I talk to so many men and women in the sport that through the recovery from that, the recovery from drugs, alcohol, whatever they're addicted to. OCR just sort of brings all of these, maybe they were mishaps or oddballs or screw ups in their lives at some point, but then they all just kind of found this sport. And if you're that personality, when you find how challenging it is and how in here you get on a course, it's addicting. So, that's why, Dan, I know you haven't done one yet, but once you do it, you're going to be hooked. And I think that's a really unique thing about the community, is so many people that I have met through the years. This is their community. This is their social life, their friends, and this is where they go to get fulfilled, even then, though they go home just, broken and can't bend their legs, all of that. But it's such a unique community because of, I think, what it brings out for people, and Joe creating something where you can intentionally suffer. I'm really, so many of us have been through so much suffering on our own that you put us out on a race course and we're comfortable, right? We're thriving in chaos. So, I mean, I think I've met the coolest community of athletes from the, elite all the way down. And we all just have this kind of common thread that's woven in us of, seeking out that challenge, seeking out something hard because, we've already brought it, we've already brought that to the table with what we've gone through in our lives.
It gives purpose to some of the hardship. When my son said, and this will bring it to full circle, when my son said, Mama, we need this for all kids, it might have saved Jake. Yeah, that's exactly what she said. And we race for Jake all the time. His parents are always supporting Lionhearts, and they are so grateful. We want to put a warp wall up. It's the highest one we can, the hardest one, and we want to name it, the Jake warp wall, because you can get over the hardest obstacle. Get me all teary up here, but I'm still got my illness. Yet, I go in Jacksonville. This little spit, one of my dearest friends now, Rachel, who became my son's coach so that he can learn how to run, because he sure learned how to run by her. I'll tell you what, he can beat any
I'm still
obstacle.
learning how to run.
Yeah, but he's a no-fail obstacle course racer. He really is. And I know it sounds like I'm talking about my boy, but no, this boy's kind of scary. I didn't know that. I was just trying to give him a way to cope, and I didn't know how good he really is. But he needed to learn to run, and Rachel actually would coach him for free because that's how much she cared about the kids. And now he's running pretty fast. But see, I know, and I got distracted, but by that, but I didn't know that I would have so much support for the community for me. And in Jacksonville, I was turning 62. It was my birthday. I also got to meet Joe DeCina, which was kind of fun on my birthday. And we got to take some pictures, and they had a birthday party for me at the podium. And all the pros and elites, everybody was there. We had cake, thanks to this crazy girl right here. A couple cakes. She had a vanilla and chocolate. No, for all these guys just got their podium awaards. She's offering, you want some cake? And they're like, I can't eat cake. And how about after?
Right?
I got another race. And she's like, no, it's Shell's birthday cake. And that was enough to know that I belonged. Even though I'm not like Rachel Waters, but I still belonged. And then they all found out that I was going to walk the race because I was 62 and it might be the last one. So I'm going to do it. Thank you, Spartan. You gave me life. You gave me Lionhearts. They gave my son purpose. And Rachel, Annie, if you know any of these names, guys, Noel, Richard Shin, Tom Mamming. Oh, I'm going to forget people, but they all came and carried me through the course, through the mud, under the barbed wire, over the rings. Now, these guys were having a fun run, so you should have seen some of these guys playing on the rings. They're like, I've never seen these elites have so much fun in my life, because they're like, yeah, they don't have to hurry. We're waiting for Shell. So they just had such a good time, and it gave me more life. It gave me more fun. It gave me more purpose and reason. And if that's what we're giving other people, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's do it. Let's spread the news. Spartan now has been so generous to bring Lionhearts in as one of their charities. And if they say give Lionhearts when they're signing in, the money comes to help us help the kids. Now, we are all volunteers and always will be. Nobody pays a fee and nobody gets paid, and that never will. I wrote the charter that way, and I dare anybody to try to mess with that. Ain't gonna happen. I was a good businesswoman once upon a time, and it ain't gonna happen. And so it's all free. We're gonna open up a ranch. It's gonna be free obstacle course for all kids. And so, but Spartan has jumped on board and said, you just put give Lionhearts. And not only that, I became an ambassador lead. How that happened. Thank you for that, because now I can help others. They need to learn how to be their first Spartan race. So yes, it's great with my kids. Thank you. I got hundreds of those. But now Spartan's giving me the opportunity to help other people, whoever comes in my way, whoever I meet on social media, who says, I'm going to do my first Spartan and I'm scared. Well, there's this thing you can do. There's this Zoom meeting you can join and they'll help you. Do you want the link? I can help you. And I have a code. I have a race code. You want to try the race? Spartan has empowered me to do that. And it isn't about, oh, look at me, I'm cool, I'm a Spartan ambassador. It isn't about that. It's, can we help people help themselves? Can we empower other people to kick the crap out of this miserable life? Can we be light in the dark? I believe that's what we are with OCR. And now I'll get off my podium. Thank you very much.
So Michele, where are you located at?
Lionhearts Fitness is what, darling?
Near Chattanooga.
Yeah, I'm on the border of Chattanooga and East. Yeah, there you go. What, Rachel? Where am I? We are in East Tennessee and North Georgia. We're right on the border of that. That's where we are.
Yeah, and it's been really great to see the community start stepping up and supporting Lionhearts, because again, I met them at the end of 2020 and it was such a small group, and you have Shell just hammering away at this by herself with her son and, making connections and meeting people. It's just been incredible to see that there's so many good people out there that want to help. They just maybe don't know how or don't know the mechanism to do so. So I was so grateful to find an established group that, what better way do we save the world than to teach kids what we as adults are learning in obstacle courses. That to me is it. When I can stand in front of 12-year-old girls and tell them how, I'm proud of my body, not because I'm skinny, but because I'm strong, because it makes me win obstacle course races. I wish that I had that at that age. And I, again, may not have had to suffer on my own windy path in a way. And so the ability for a lot of us elites and age group and even open runners to be mentors has been a really unique thing to see. So there's a lot of ways that people can support Lionhearts. You don't have to live in Chattanooga. You don't have to bring your kids there. You can reach out, you can be a mentor, you can do it virtually. If they're going to a race, they always need people to go out and escort the kids on course. Running with kids on a kids race is the most exciting and fun thing, because you've got kids having meltdowns, crying, and see these little toddlers with shoes, and you're like, how are they doing that? You see the fearlessness of a child on monkey bars. These kids are just loving it and working together. So, I would encourage, anybody that wants to be a part of it, think about how you can be involved. It's not just, giving money, which of course helps, that funds the process, but it's been really cool to see a lot of the other elites step up as mentors.
Yes.
So Shell,
that's true. Sorry.
So Shell, Dan will put some different links in when we post this. So let's make sure we get, any links to website, obviously the Facebook page, all that kind of stuff, so people can to go look at your Facebook page and see all of the amazing things that get done. Some of the really cool videos and pictures you take. And so those who don't know, Shell also doesn't just take pictures of just the Lionhearts team. She becomes kind of a photographer for all kinds of people throughout the OCR day and event and what's going on. It's a very cool thing. So always giving back, always part of the community. Rachel, knowing what you go through to be an elite athlete and knowing the time it takes and the training it takes and just the craziness, and then you come here and you do this. You're spending time with us today to talk about the purpose of Lionhearts. Again, I think you're cool because you're an elite athlete. I think you're even cooler for what you do with Shell, honestly, because that doesn't take training. That just takes a really big heart. And so.
I mean, I appreciate that. I feel like I get more out of it though, like than what I give. I mean, just being with those kids, it's like, who cares if I can run fast? Like running faster, being strong is not, it's not it. It's what can you do with that? What can you do with your platform? I'm not.
Also, Dan and Dan, thank you for the platform.
Yeah, thank you for letting us
Spartan.
talk about Lionhearts, because I mean, it's something that I'm passionate about. I feel grateful to just be able to be a vehicle sort of a message, right? Sort of this love conduit that can take what Shell and her family have created and be able to, just because I happen to, you know, run fast here and there, get to spread it. So it helps give me purpose and meaning. And it so many times reminds me too, that, you know, of course, the training, the nutrition, the traveling, the racing, it's all important, but you know, what is my purpose here as an athlete? Is it, you know, just to collect triangles, or is it to, you know, do something a little bit more meaningful that, and sort of save myself a little bit on the way, you know, because I started racing in 2015, and you know, it's probably the best decision I've ever made in my life. It changed my life, saved my life. I'm still learning from it every time. So I'm just blessed to have found Shell and her son, and that, you know, they're really the ones doing this work every day. They're the ones that have, you know, 40 to 60 kids between the two of them, that they're showing compassion and leadership and kindness to. So it's a neat program. If anybody's in the area ever passing through, I'd recommend stopping by, and, you know, the kids love it.
Again, thank you. We wouldn't have it out to the world without your help. That's what we do need. We need people to know if they ever want their own Lionhearts and just donate all their time, 12 hours a day, I'll give them my business plan. They're more than welcome. They won't make any money, but they will spread love. They will be very tired. And if they're not sick, they'll probably will become that way. But I am happy to give them my business plan. You can steal all my ideas and you can give it to all the children out there, because there's just not enough.
Awesome.
There's
Thank
no
you
money in
guys
it.
so much. It was an absolute honor, obviously, to meet you guys. And I did visit Chattanooga this past year for the scuffle, the big scuffle up at the college. And I'm going to definitely send your information out to those coaches there at Tennessee Chattanooga. They do a lot of events up there. So hopefully they can incorporate some of their fundraising with you guys, and that would be great. But yeah, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
Yeah, it was nice to meet you, and I'll be checking back up to make sure you do that race in December. So
Yeah, we're on it.
That's not going to be that's not an option, Rachel. He already understands that's not an option.
if you're doing an afternoon wave and you got a crew, I might come out there with you, and we can talk about
So
I like it.
So I'm trying to
talk
get
your ear off.
and say what I'm trying to get him to do, Rachel, is that was he won't back out, is probably going to run with Oscar Mike in the afternoon.
Yes,
The
I love
sprint
those
on the
guys.
afternoon on Sunday, because I know he won't
Yes.
back out if I've committed him to running with the veterans, right? I know I'll hook him and keep him. So.
Oh, that's a great group. Good friends of mine.
You'll come with me too.
I'd love to.
You'll help me get through everything. It'll be
All
fun.
right.
I'll teach you how to do some of it. I'll give you some pointers.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you,
for
guys.